Well, we've come to the end. We want to welcome you to our last week of class. I know the class has been a lot of work, a lot of reading, a lot of assignments. There's been a lot going on, but I really do trust you've learned some things through the class, and particularly some knowledge that will help you do ministry better. It will help you understand society and ministry in society more effective. As we come to the end, you'll notice this week there's no writing assignments due. There's one discussion question, and there's no reading. We've given you this week to really work on your final project, your final paper. Now, the final paper is to be a paper on a social issue. Now, be careful, because sometimes students get hung up in doing a psychology issue. Like, for instance, if you wanted to do a paper on depression among college students, it could be easy to get into the psychology of depression versus the sociology. So you really need to look at so you can do depression among college students, but you really need to look at the sociological causes, how the group and its effect on depression among college students, and how depression among college students affects society, larger society. So I have students writing papers on that. I have students write papers on how students from off-campus are integrated into the off-campus environment. I have students writing paper on how the media, the social media, texting, so forth, affects literacy in school. I have students writing papers on involvement in church, the young versus the old. So in any event, you need to choose a paper where the subject is about a social problem. So a social problem. The paper then is 12 pages, APA style, where you have two parts. The first part of the paper, approximately 6 pages, is defining the problem. So how do you find the problem from a sociological perspective? Particularly in there, I want you to give the facts and statistics. What does the data say about that? What does the literature say? So that's where you do your literature review, and you look through all the literature on that problem, and why do they say that that's there? What does the literature say the problem is? Thirdly, in this part of the paper, I want you to look at social theory. Of all these social theories we've studied in class, which theory relates to this? So, for example, going back to the idea of depression among college students, you might look at things like the looking glass self and how our self-image is developed from that. You may want to look at the issues of media and depression. So, again, there are major chapters of our book that deal with a lot of these subjects. And even if it's not with a specific subject, go larger. For instance, commuting students versus on-campus students and their integration. There's a lot of work done on that, so you can look at the larger issue and kind of focus in on that. But again, the first part of the paper is an introduction to it. What's the problem? What are the facts? And two, what does the literature say? Including what theories drive that. Okay, the second part of the paper is a solution to the problem. How do we solve that? And when we solve it, you are to do a couple of things. Number one, you can also do literature work there. And sometimes students want to put the solution in their first paper, part of the paper, but you need to keep it to the end. So how do we solve this problem? And what does the research say that solves this? So you look at the literature. Again, what does the literature say of the solutions to it? I also want you to do an interview, or 1 or 2 or 3 interviews. Now, doing interviews is part of the sociological research methods. So I want you to interview 1 to 3 experts in the field. Okay, 1 to 3 experts. Those interviews then become a resource like you would a text. Like you read a book, those become a text. So you have to have a minimum of 1 interview, and that will get you a C. To get an A, you have to have 3 interviews. So again, think of somebody who's an expert in the field and have them speak into that. And again, it's how to solve the problem. So example, if we're talking about a depression among college students, you may want to talk to one of the student life personnel at college, or you may want to talk to a counselor. someone of that stature who can help you come to some solutions to that. Again, this is a 12-page paper. The first part deals with the cause of the problem. The last part deals with the solution to the problem. And it's a lot of work, but we've got all week to do it, so I'm looking forward to reading your papers. It has been a good class. I know we are anxious to get school over and to get out for the summer, but do your best on this, and I'm sure it'll enhance your ability to understand things from a sociological world. Well, it's been good to have you in class. God bless you.